It is a Tuesday evening in Denver, Colorado. Diane is 34 years old. She makes $68,000 a year as a project manager. She has been saving consistently for 6 years. Every month without fail, she puts money away. She has $31,000 sitting in her savings account right now. She is proud of it. She should be. Most people her age have nothing. But last week, Diane sat down and did the math for the first time. In 6 years of disciplined saving, her bank paid her $412 in interest. Inflation took $7,200 of her purchasing power. She netted negative $6,788 on 6 years of sacrifice. Diane was not doing anything wrong. Diane was doing everything she was told. The problem is, nobody told her the full story. Today that changes. If you are already saving consistently every month, you are ahead of most people. That is not a small thing, and it should not be dismissed. But here is the question that separates people who are financially comfortable from people who are financially free. Is your money growing faster than it is being eroded? Because here is what is happening to every dollar sitting in a traditional savings account right now. Inflation running historically between 2 and 4% annually and recently significantly higher is reducing the purchasing power of that dollar every single year. Your bank is paying you somewhere between 0.01 and 0.5% interest on a standard savings account. Inflation is taking 3 to 8%. You are losing ground while standing still. The people who understand this do not stop saving. They save smarter, they invest strategically, and they treat both tools as completely different instruments designed for completely different jobs. That is what this video is about. If this channel is new to you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We talk about money at the level of people who are already in the game and want to play it better. Let's get into it. Let me introduce you to the villain of Diane's story. Not her bank, not her discipline, not her income. The villain is a mistake so common and so invisible that millions of responsible people are making it right now without knowing it exists. It is called oversaving, and it is quietly costing people like Diane hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a financial lifetime. Here is what oversaving looks like in real life. Diane has $31,000 in savings. Her actual emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, should be around $12,000. The remaining $19,000 has no real job. It is just sitting there, earning nothing, being eaten by inflation. Month after month, year after year. That $19,000 is not being lazy. It is being actively destroyed. Now let me show you what the math actually looks like when you make one different decision with that money. Meet two people. Call them David and Claire. Same age, same income, same discipline, same $1,000 per month to put away. David does what most responsible savers do. He puts all $1,000 into a high-yield savings account, earning 4.5% annually. He feels good about it. He is being careful. He is being smart. After 30 years, David has approximately $760,000. Claire does something slightly different. She puts $500 into that same high-yield savings account, and she invests the other $500 every month into a diversified total market index fund, averaging 8% annual returns, a conservative estimate of the historical market average. After 30 years, Claire has approximately $380,000 in savings, plus approximately $680,000 in investments, total over $1 million. Same income, same discipline, same monthly amount being put away, over $240,000 difference, just from deciding where each dollar actually belongs. David was not irresponsible. David was extremely responsible by every conventional standard. But the opportunity cost of keeping investable money in savings instead of in the market compounded quietly against him for 3 decades. That is the cost of oversaving, not a dramatic loss. A quiet, invisible, decades-long drag that only becomes visible in hindsight. Now here is where I need to be honest with you about both sides, because undersaving while overinvesting is just as dangerous. It just shows up faster and more painfully. Here is what that looks like. Marcus is 31 years old in Austin, Texas. He is fired up about investing. He watched a video, maybe a lot of videos, and he decided to go all in. Every spare dollar goes straight into his brokerage account. His investments are growing. He feels like he is finally doing the right thing. Then, his transmission dies. $4,200. Marcus does not have $4,200 in liquid savings, so he sells $4,200 worth of index funds on a day when the market happens to be down 11%. Which means, to get $4,200 out, he actually has to sell closer to $4,700 worth of shares. Plus, he triggers a taxable event. Plus, he loses the future compounding on every dollar he pulled out. His transmission did not cost him $4,200. It cost him significantly more when you count what that money would have grown to over the next 20 years. Marcus was not irresponsible. He was enthusiastic. But enthusiasm without a foundation is just risk wearing a positive attitude. This is why the sequence matters more than the amount. You do not skip savings to invest faster. You build the foundation first, and then you deploy everything above the foundation aggressively. So let me give you the framework that actually works. Think of your money in 3 distinct buckets. Bucket 1 is the foundation. This is your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of actual living expenses, not income, expenses. Sitting in a high-yield savings account earning the best rate you can find. This money is not touched unless a real emergency occurs. Once this bucket is fully funded, not almost funded, you stop adding to it. Diane's bucket 1 is $12,000. She has it. It is funded. She should stop adding to it. She has not because nobody told her there was a stopping point. Bucket 2 is near term. This is money for goals and expenses within the next 1 to 3 years. A down payment, a car, a wedding, a planned life event. This money stays in high-yield savings or short-term treasury bonds, not in the market, because you cannot afford the volatility risk on a short timeline. If you need the money within 3 years, the market is the wrong place for it. Bucket 3 is the engine. Everything beyond buckets 1 and 2 that you are saving for goals more than 3 years out goes here. Retirement, long-term wealth building, financial independence. This money goes into the market index funds, ETFs, your retirement accounts, and it gets left alone. The optimization that most experienced savers miss is that they never clearly define when bucket 1 and bucket 2 are full, so they keep adding to them indefinitely, out of habit, out of comfort, out of the psychological safety that a growing savings balance provides. Meanwhile, bucket 3 sits underfunded, and the wealth-building engine never runs at full capacity. Define your full line for each bucket. Once you hit it, redirect everything else to the engine. Now let me talk about something that never makes it into saving versus investing discussions. The psychological piece. Saving feels safe. Investing does not. And that feeling is not irrational. It is accurate. Savings accounts do not go down. Investment accounts do. Anyone who watched their portfolio drop 20% in a market correction knows the specific stomach drop that comes with it. But here is what experienced investors understand that new ones do not. Volatility is not the same as loss. A temporary drop in your portfolio value is only a realized loss if you sell. The people who built serious wealth in the market are not the people who timed it perfectly. They are the people who did not sell when it dropped. And here is the key insight that changes everything. When your foundation is fully funded, when bucket 1 is stocked and bucket 2 is covered, a market downturn is just a number on a screen. You do not need to touch it. You have the savings foundation to absorb whatever life throws at you. When it is not funded, that same market drop becomes a genuine threat, because now you might be forced to sell. And forced selling at the wrong time is one of the most expensive financial mistakes a person can make. The savings does not compete with the investing. The savings is what makes the investing psychologically survivable. Here is what Diane did after she finally ran these numbers. She stopped adding to savings above her $12,000 emergency fund. She identified $19,000 that had been sitting idle and split it strategically $4,000 into a near-term bucket for a vacation she was planning, and $15,000 into a Roth IRA invested in a total market index fund. Then she redirected her automatic monthly savings contribution, which had been going entirely into her savings account, to a 70-30 split. 70% to investments, 30% maintaining her savings at its correct level. Nothing dramatic changed in her life. She did not earn more. She did not spend less. She just pointed her existing discipline at the right targets. And for the first time in 6 years, her money started working as hard as she did. The question is not whether to save or invest. The question is, for each dollar you are setting aside, does this belong in a savings account or in the market? And do you have a clear, intentional answer for why? If you do, your money is working as hard as you are. If you do not, today is the day you figure that out. Here is exactly what I want you to do this week. Write down your current savings balance. Then figure out what 3 to 6 months of your actual living expenses actually costs. That number is your bucket 1 target. Anything above that number is money that potentially belongs somewhere else. Then ask yourself, do I have any planned expenses in the next 1 to 3 years? If yes, set that money aside in high-yield savings as bucket 2. That is its job. Everything else, if your time horizon is longer than 3 years, belongs in the market. Not all at once if that feels too fast. Gradually, systematically, automatically. Define the full line for each bucket. Redirect what is above it. And watch what discipline pointed in the right direction actually builds. That is the whole thing. No complexity, no perfection required. Just clarity about which dollars go where and why. Diane figured this out at 34. She has 3 decades of compounding ahead of her. The decision she made last week is going to look very different when she is 64. That is not luck. That is a framework applied to existing discipline. You already have the discipline. Now you have the framework. Drop a comment below and tell me after watching this, which bucket in your financial life do you think is overfunded and which one is underfunded right now? I read every single one, and I personally reply. If this video gave you clarity, share it with someone in your life who is saving hard and might not know they are leaving serious money on the table. Subscribe if you are new, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Your discipline deserves a strategy that matches it.